What's up, brother Zach?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good, good.
How's your birthday yesterday?
Man, it was amazing.
We had an impromptu party.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was amazing because everyone just got together at the last minute
Yeah.
and, good food, good
Yes.
people, good laugh.
yeah.
We had
That's
a
so
couple
much
of
fun,
business
man.
talk. So, yeah, it was really
Hummus,
nice.
lamb chop,
Yeah.
good friends, good conversations can never go wrong, man.
Never, brother.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this one, Zach. You are our in-house market expert. You have been invested into the market for quite some time. You know what's going on. You read, you research, and then you kind of translate the data for us in the layman's terms, the way we understand in the office. We really appreciate you for that. So I thought it'll be good for the viewers to also know what's going on with the market. So I am personally, selfishly, very interested in what's going on with UAW.
Mm.
Okay. So I'm a complete, ignorant on this. What's the strike about? Why are we on a strike? How is it affecting the employees, the employers, the supply chain, and all that? And ultimately, we want to find out how is it going to affect real estate. So why don't you unpack that for us? What's the UAW? What's the strike for?
Yeah, wow, that's a lot to unpack here because it's a multi-layered topic. It's a very sensitive topic at this moment because obviously people's jobs are on stake and household income is on stake, right? So it's always definitely something that touches home to a lot of people. The UAW strike has been happening for now over a month. I think they're on like day 40 or so. It's still going on.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been going on for 40 days. 40 days now. I believe Ford is coming to a agreement, so that's a good thing.
Yes,
right. So they were opting for 40%. The counter was for 23%. UAW is saying 25%.
So unpack that. What's 40%? 40% raise?
40% raise.
Wow.
Yeah. So
$100,000 income going to 140,000.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
But you're talking more so of the labor factory workers, right?
Okay.
They're the ones that are out there striking. They're the ones asking for the pay raise to keep up with, the living cost nowadays. Obviously, with inflation so high, food cost high, gas prices, rents, everything is being affected in a major way. Food prices, especially, 5 times, 6 times over within just like the span of last 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? A lot of this is stemming from they feel like the upper management is making way much more, and the lower gap is
The wealth gap is too much.
It's too much, right? So if you look at the top, 1%, it's basically just sky high. The middle class is coming down. They're not even stagnant. They're coming down. The middle class is coming down, and the poor is just getting poorer because of the inflation. So
I think they just want to have two classes. They just want to get rid of middle class.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yep,
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the GDP report came out yesterday. GDP went up by 4.6%. And they were rejoicing, right? On CNN, they were saying how this is probably one of the best GDP reports we've ever had, showing the economy has grown so much. But if you look at it closely, it's the corporate level that's making this money. It's not, normal American people that's making this money. It's the corporate level. So if corporate is making this much and GDP is up there, record profits ever seen, why are the normal workers not being compensated for what they should be compensated at? So that's what the entire strike is about.
That's the main reasoning for the strike.
Yeah, exactly. The backbone of the American labor union is built on the middle class. That's what built middle class, is these factory workers in America. So for them falling off that status and barely making it, making ends meet, and having kids, and having cars, house, running all of that is no joke nowadays, right? So they need to basically cover that gap.
Right. So the other side of the argument that I read, Zach, and you can fill me in, is that if we raise it like 23% or 25%, these manufacturers are going to just take their jobs elsewhere. So we're going to actually be in a worse position than we are in now. People are going to lose jobs because they want, they'll be like, it's too much for us to pay.
Yeah.
We want to save, follow the money. Let's go to Mexico. Let's go to China. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen the effects of jobs leaving from America to China and what it has done. But then Donald Trump came into office and he bought some of these jobs back right? So
Made America great again.
make America great again. Exactly, that was his slogan. And he bought a lot of the jobs back, and now they're looking for alternatives because, I mean, America is butting heads with China right now, so they're looking for alternatives. Well, the alternative right now is Mexico. A lot of these jobs are being taken over to Mexico because they can get a worker on a salary is less than half of what they're paying someone here. So yes, that can be an effect, and it's already happening. A lot of the positions are already switching over to Mexico, which is definitely going to be something to think about. Moving
so
forward.
from your analysis so far, Zach, and of course, none of us know the future guaranteed. It's just we're reading the market and we're seeing.
Yeah.
So 23 or 25%, whatever they agree on, from your analysis, from an employee's perspective, if I'm the Ford worker, from my perspective, am I going to be left net positive after all this is over? Meaning, will it be will I have better chance of having the job with 25% more, or the chances of me actually getting laid off now because they don't want to even keep me because I'm too expensive? Where do you see?
Right. Well, the good thing about having a labor union behind you is that they can't just
kick you out.
Just bootstrap you because of that reason. Now, don't get me wrong, there are loopholes to it, and there's loopholes to everything. And they will find those ways and to get around it. But I feel like if the companies are making record profit, why are they not compensating these workers? They deserve the money. Instead of being given to the upper management team.
100%.
Some of it needs to trickle down to the
100%.
normal workers.
Company's not only made by the senior executives, it's made by everyone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and everyone has a right to an affordable living. We have money that we're printing and just blindly just throwing at places and, not taking care of the American people here, right?
Right.
Why are we spending money left and right and just throwing it into, other causes, but we're not focused on America itself here?
We're sending billions to other countries.
Billions.
Yeah. And then if you go to inner cities, it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable what you see in America.
Yeah.
People can't afford daily necessities.
Healthcare.
Yeah.
People can't afford insulin.
Yeah.
Because of this pharmaceuticals having such a grip on the healthcare industry.
Correct.
So why are not...
We have a war to fight here.
Yeah, we have a war to fight here, but we're spending money in other places.
Yeah.
And we're printing. It's not like we're not printing. The deficit of the government, the Federal Reserve's budget sheet is going up by $1 trillion a year.
Wow. What is it at right now, the total?
$33 trillion.
$33 trillion, yeah.
Yeah, $33 trillion, and 40% of it has been printed just between the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's never been printed like this, man.
Never. And that's what's causing the inflation, because of the outrageous amounts that's getting printed left and right without, there's no tomorrow, as if we don't have to, pay the price for it. But they're using something called quantitative easing, where they're basically just kicking the can down the road.
Yes.
With quantitative easing, it's like a cancer.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rid of it. All you can do is kick the can down the road.
It's just
but you got to kick it harder and harder and harder every time you print more and more and more. And that's what has us in this situation. And the Federal Reserve thinks that they're going to raise the interest rates and everything is going to just disappear.
Magically disappear.
Jerome Powell right now is using what you call the 70s, 80s style of Volcker style of fighting inflation.
Yeah.
Right? But Volcker took 13 years to get rid of inflation. If you ask me, if someone had to work on a job for 13 years to solve one problem, he did not do a good job.
Good job, yeah. It took from Ronald Reagan's time to Clinton's time. Yeah,
so
passing Bush Sr.,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So does that mean it'll take us 13 years to get rid of what we have going on?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And they're saying, they keep changing their narrative. They keep saying we're going to have a soft landing. We're going to have a soft landing. Now they come out and said, oh, look, guys, soft landing is off the table. Right?
Yeah.
Now they're like, but we won't have a hard landing.
Yeah.
Soft landing off the table, but we won't have a hard landing.
So
we're finding a middle ground right now because we've raised the interest rates. Federal fund rate, I think, is at 5.5 right now. And this is the quickest rise in interest rates we've ever seen. and us being in the real estate industry, we've seen rates go from that 2% to 8% in a year and a half.
Yeah.
That is the highest increase ever.
And we're clearly seeing an effect of it in real estate, right?
Definitely.
So let's transition that. I have some data for you here, Zach. I know you probably already know the data.
Yeah.
But let's look at specifically City of Warren. So 2022 September versus 2023 September. New listings went down by 28%. Okay. Closed sales went down by 33%. Days on market went down by 11%. So they're selling faster,
right?
Even though we're having less of sales, but they're selling faster, right? A median sales price have gone up by 23%. Okay. So the prices have gone up clearly between 2022 and 2023. And this is from MLS for City of Warren. So how do you interpret this? And, inflation is macro, right? Interest rate is macro, but I'm more interested in the micro with UAW, with these job things happening. Are people going to lose jobs?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? How does it affect real estate?
Good question. I want to first say that this UAW strike will come to an end. Okay. The effect and that will take onto the economy, we will see it, right? It's kind of a lagging effect. It will take some time to trickle down, but this will come to an end because both sides are losing money, right? The union president of the UAW said that they got money to spend, but we got cards to play. So he has more tricks up his sleeve, and he's going to make sure that they're getting either 25 to 30% an increase. So that increase is coming.
It's like the modern day Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
Hope he doesn't disappear though.
I hope he doesn't disappear. Yeah. So they will get their raise.
Yeah.
Now it's what happens after getting this raise. That's what is the most key important point to look at. Well, America is a consumer-based country. We consume, right? So when we had the stimulus checks given out, all this money printed, unemployment checks given out by sitting at home, what happened?
Yeah.
Everybody went on a shopping spree. Get a new car. Let's get a new house.
Credit
let's
card
get the
debt
newest
is highest.
toys, right? Credit card debts, they racked it up.
Yeah.
Now everything, the egg is about to crack. And we're looking at these credit card rates. They're sitting at these all-time high level.
Yes. All-time high.
All-time high. Never seen before. So again, to look at what's going to happen in the future, you have to see what just happened in the past. If we look in the past, we see that if the American people is given more money, they will spend.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you give the, a 25, 30% raise, that money will get spent. And let's tie that back into real estate now, right? Housing affordability is a crisis issue right now. So housing and wage has gone up the last couple of years by about 40%. So if it has gone up by 40%, if housing has gone up by 40%, and we're getting a 25, 30% increase, what do you think these people are in position to do?
Yeah.
They're in position now to take that extra 30% and use it as a down payment to buy a house.
Correct.
But the inventory has not come back since COVID.
Yeah.
The inventory is still at a very low level.
Right.
It has not even gone back to what Corona level was.
Right.
It's not even back to 2019 level.
No, it's not even pre-Corona.
It's 1.3 million was the normal supply. Right now, it's about 400 something thousand.
Yeah, 1/4.
Right. So when you have low supply and demand, when you have low supply, the demand's high, people are getting wage increase. Let the fire burn.
Yeah. So brace for impact, in short.
I would say the housing market is not finished.
Yeah.
It's still going strong. And next year is going to be another wild ride.
Yeah.
Especially if those rates come down.
Yes.
We saw like last December of 2023, the rates were at 8%.
Yeah. 2022.
2022, sorry.
Yeah.
The rates were at 8%. By June of 2023, rates came back down to 6%.
Oh, man. Frenzy.
Everybody in the office was running around putting in offers.
6% is the new 3%.
6% is the new 3%. Exactly.
Right.
So everybody was putting offers.
Yeah, of course.
My clients, we were going above and beyond to get a house under contract.
Yeah.
So what will happen? Federal Reserve already said, hey, guys, we cannot push any higher, because if we push any higher, the stress level of the banks, they're going to collapse. And we've seen, 3 or 4 banks go down already because of the stress level. And they tested the stress of other banks and they said, oh, guys, if we raise any more, these banks are going to have a problem.
Right.
So these guys are not going to be raising anymore. That's the projection for the next 2 meetings, that they will not be raising. They're pausing. Let's take a little step back. Let's see how the economy reacts to this. Next springtime comes around, we'll decide what to do again. Yeah.
So in what meeting do you think they'll say like, okay, it's time to go reverse. It's time to reduce interest rate.
So this is when you go from quantitative easing to quantitative tightening.
Yeah.
This is when you so the best example I can give is, let's say I give you a credit card. This credit card, I want to take for a quantitative easing, I take your spending limit from $5,000 to $15,000. That's what quantitative easing is. But quantitative tightening is, I take your balance from $15,000 down to, let's say, $7,500.
Right.
Because I have tightened your budget, because I don't want you to spend anymore, because I think you're being reckless with what you're doing.
Right.
So with quantitative tightening, which is happening right now, their goal is $90 billion a month to tighten the books again.
Okay. It's $90 billion a month in what?
In the federal balance sheet.
Okay, got you.
To raise $90 billion every month.
Okay.
Yes. So that's why the stock market is a little bit shaky right now, is because they're taking some money out from the market. The liquidity is coming out of the market. And when the liquidity comes out of the market, that's when the stocks go down.
Right.
So that's what we're seeing right now. They're tightening their books right now to see, hey, if we take this money out, how will the economy perform?
Right.
Because we already put high rates.
Yeah.
Now let's take some money out.
Right.
Let's see, will we have a couple more banks implode?
Got you. Okay. Last question, Zakir. If I'm a home buyer, right? The first time home buyer, never bought a house before. I'm a family of 4. I have 2 young kids.
Okay.
I've always rented. Is it a good time for me to buy right now?
If your finance is ready to buy.
Okay.
If your finance is ready to buy, I would buy. But I would make sure to have first build a safety net. Build that emergency fund, because times are tough right now. We can say whatever we want to say, but we can't see into the future. They could throw a U-curve ball, right?
Yeah.
So if they throw a curveball at us, you have to be ready for it. And I think 6 months is something good amount to have in your hand, because with 6 months, at least you can get back on your feet.
Yeah.
You can, for God's sake, you can go at least do Uber, DoorDash, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The mistake a lot of people are making right now is they're buying new car, new house, new furnitures, appliances, all on debt. This is not the way to go.
That's never good.
This is not the way to go, especially in this environment.
Yeah.
So if you're a renter, I still encourage you to buy, but because rates will come down, so you will get a chance to refinance. I think the rate's going to come back down to 5%.
Yeah.
Not right now. I believe 2025 is what I'm targeting.
Right.
So when those rates come back down, people do have a chance to refi. But at this moment, if you're a renter, I highly still advise you to buy, because it's always good to put money into your own pocket than someone else's pocket.
Yes.
And if you do the calculation between the interest rate versus what you're paying on rent, because don't act like rent didn't go up.
No,
rents also went skyrocketing.
I know, man.
Right? So if rents went skyrocketing and you're still paying an obnoxious amount to pay rent, then why would you not buy your own house and pay that amount?
Just funny story. One of my tenants been living there for 7 years, paying $850 rent. So she left. She bought a house, and the new tenant was like, "Well, how much to list it for?" Then I go into Zillow's estimate. Rentals estimate is at $1,375.
Wow.
I just could not believe my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, what am I seeing? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So and that $1,375, the whole 100% of it is just going to someone else, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all this time, it was your pocket instead of her pocket.
Correct.
And that's what, 5 years you said?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. The interest rate on a mortgage, the most is the first 7 years.
Right.
So at this point, she would be at a point of position to start building heavy equity. In her mortgage.
Because I think it balances out in 7th year, right?
Yes.
You're not paying more in interest.
Yes, you're paying more in principal
from the 7th year
So
onwards.
she would have put herself in a position to basically be that boss.
So that's a common thing a lot of people don't know. the graph behind your monthly payment.
Yeah.
So it's not the same distribution of, if it's $1,200 monthly payment, it's not like 700 forever is going to go to interest and 500 to principal.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's changing. There's the amortization chart that a lot of people don't know about. And I think we as realtors should do a better job explaining all these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wish you were my realtor, man, when we bought the house.
That's why you were my realtor, man.
Yes. Yeah, time flies, man.
Yeah.
Any last thing you want to say, Zach, specifically on the UAW, just to recap? So Ford is approaching a deal.
Yes.
We'll keep the viewers posted. So what about GM?
GM and Chrysler has not come to a conclusion yet, but I feel like since Ford has made the move, GM and Chrysler should follow. Because they do have, they are in talks with one another.
Yes, of course. And then, so how does that affect the housing market? Your prediction, our prediction, and I agree. I think if it goes through, it's gonna just like the housing market is gonna be on fire, especially the local market.
Yes. So this is your winter market one, right?
Yeah.
Winter markets are already known to be slow, right? But also at the same time, in the winter market, you will find that bright house. That's the negative of being in the winter market, because all the good sellers are waiting for springtime.
Correct.
So what's going to happen right now is, like I said, it's a lagging effect where we're seeing the effects already take place, but we will see more probably come during the holiday season, because you have holiday spending coming up, which people will be bootstrapped. So a lot of people will make the move. So this is your chance to get in there and grab, some of these discount priced houses, because if the seller is desperate right now and you're in a position to make a negotiation deal, this is a perfect opportunity. Because what's going to happen is, soon as these people get a raise, which I expect at least by January 1st for sure,
frenzy again.
Yeah, frenzy will start, because tax return season is coming. Everyone's going to do tax return, money in their pocket. Then I got a bonus and you got tax return. Come on, man.
Let's buy a house.
Let's buy a house. Exactly.
Yeah.
And my own clients are already telling me this. Right. I'm hearing these chatters already.
Yeah.
So expect it. It's coming.
Absolutely, man. And the third point that you covered, Zach, I think the most important, if you do buy a house now, make sure you have enough savings to cover 6 months of expenses, including mortgage and everything. We don't want you to put yourself in a position where, every last penny from your relatives are gift funds. Every last penny from your account, you're putting into the house. And then once you buy the house, taxes go up a little bit, property taxes, then you don't know what to do. And the winter is coming, as they say, right?
Yes.
So I think 6 months of savings, and you're in a good position, because the house price that you're going to get right now, that you lock yourself up, I don't think you can find that next year, same time.
No, absolutely not. I just locked a Colonial, in a hot market for $275.
Oh, man.
Right? So me getting a Colonial for $275 in this market,
$320, $330, right?
with 1,900 square feet.
Yeah.
I was selling those 3 months ago, 300 plus, 325, 350.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
and it's going to be even like worse for the buyers and better for the sellers the next time around.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the playing field is becoming more even, and that's a good thing. Now you can actually go and put an offer on the table, go back and forth, instead of saying, hey, no, you have to put 50 grand above.
There's art of the deal now.
Exactly.
Yeah. It goes back to our stories we covered yesterday.
Yep.
But I think this was a great session. We're going to come back again next week with you guys with another market update, where we're going to cover something even more interesting. So stay tuned. Anything else you want to say, Zach, to finish it off?
I think that was great.
Yes. Thank you, viewers.